Hello, hello. Welcome to the uncomfortably quiet menu screen. Only uncomfortably quiet because I'm just talking like a lunatic right now, and there's not even any. Not that there not being menu music is a bad thing, of course, but yeah. But anyway, this is TwoFold. This was made by the same company that worked with Heart of the Woods, but it's a much more recent game. I think it came out back in 2023. Yeah, 2023. And actually, it has hit my attention since it had came out. But I kind of wanted to do one of Studio Elon's earlier games first before jumping to TwoFold, just kind of get a feel for the vibe of the game or the stuff. You know what I mean. Uh, but but I am now prepared to dive on in because Heart of the Woods is not done. I mean, I guess I do have a couple other endings to get in that game, but I'll do that on my own time. I have been patient. I've been wanting to start this for a very long time, and now that time is nigh. So yeah, I'm not gonna be around the bush, mostly because it's probably uncomfortably quiet with me just talking over a quiet menu. So we're just gonna start a new game and dive on in.
College will open new paths for you, is what my mom had always said. I took those words to heart, despite my usual cynicism. Even as my high school friends drifted away from me over the years, and the stresses of moving out and living a lone mountain, I continued to believe in them. Then came today. The meeting with the advisor was never going to go well. Academic probation isn't a term thrown around in good circumstances.
You bet your sweet bippy it ain't.
Even with all that, a 1.2 GPA was a surprise. 5 whole credits. After cruising through school before college, it feels like a bad joke when I repeat his coldly delivered words in my head. My heart sinking, I finally closed the door behind me. A chapter of my life closes with it.
Oh. Walking by the bike, propped up against a wall, I shiver from the chill of fall running through my apartment. The practically non-existent insulation does little to keep the cold out, nor the noise. Without a roommate to share the space with, there's little to hear but the occasional passing traffic. I hardly mind. Solitude is more comfortable anyway. Unfortunately for me, that same silence makes me focus all the more on my failure. Upon reaching the living room, I simply stop. I think I'm going to turn this down really quick. Just a smidge. Because according to OBS, this is extremely loud. Probably going to up my mic sensitivity just a smidgen too. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Okay. Anyway. Upon reaching the living room, I simply stop. It's not like this should be out of left field. I'd stop checking my grades on the school website, knowing full well that the hours eaten up by work would take their toll. Between working late and studying early, it's all I could do to not fall asleep during lectures. Denial. That's all it was. Now it's caught up to me, and I have no real way out. What do I do now? For all I've tried to avoid burdening my mom, neither of us could possibly afford another semester or so of college if I failed out. I shuffle to the kitchen counter and grab a glass of water to calm my nerves. With little else available to distract myself from what I should be doing, I step over to the fern on the sill and slowly drizzle pebbles around it with water. I'm surprised it's still alive after all this time. Having bought it when I moved here. Managed to take care of a plant. Feels like a bad consolation prize, given everything else I've messed up. All I can do is sigh and appreciate the chance to wind down a little by caring for the thing. With the soil darkened and leaves shining from the droplets of water, I put down the glass and fall back onto the couch. Might as well get this over with. I fish a phone from my pocket and navigate to my mom in the contacts list. Then I press the call button. Anxious seconds go by as it rings, but before she finally picks up.
Hello? Hi, Mom.
Hi, Olive. How's it going?
I just got back from talking to my advisor.
What did he say?
Her cheery tone drops a little. She must have heard the defeat in my own voice.
I have a 1.2 GPA. Only 5 credits.
I feel like I'm deflating as I sink further into my couch. I thought I'd be scared or frustrated at how bad this is, but that's worn off and become a dull emptiness.
Oh, honey.
The last time a voice I wanted to hear was that sweet, concerned voice. It'd be so much easier if she just yelled at me. A sentiment I've thought more than once.
It's okay. This doesn't mean the end. I know someone as smart as my Ollie can find a way.
If I pulled off a decent GPA and passed all my classes and managed full credits for them, I'd still end up short. He did try to give me some options, but
See, there you go.
I don't know if they'll do any good, Mom. It's an intro art class and a creative writing class. He even said they're basically filler.
It sounds like it's something you should try, don't you think? You could easily tackle either of those.
Man, that's like the kind of parenting, like, I appreciate when it's like, when like you're kind of not like feeling the moving forward, but like your parents are still being supportive. You know what I mean?
I've never been good at that kind of stuff. You know that.
That's quitter talk.
You can only give your best shot. I think that's more than enough. You've been through harder trials in your life, and you've overcome those, and you're so much stronger for it. What this means is that there's hope.
Hope. I really wish I could believe her on that one. This is one hell of a long shot. I did fine in topics like science and math back in high school, but I've never had an inkling of creativity. The art scene is also the last place I'd want to be anywhere near. Passing one of the 2 choruses should give me barely enough credits to pass. Barely understates things. Then again, a pass is a pass, and skipping a semester isn't an option financially. Mom would doubtlessly do her best to cover the costs, a fact that puts a knot in my stomach. All this is just trying to rationalize away one simple fact. She's right.
I'll do my best. Sorry for putting you through this.
How's it beginning? Oh, we're literally just starting, Gil. You really haven't missed all that much, so no worries.
Honey, you don't need to apologize. I know there's a lot going on. I know you're doing what you can.
Yeah, sometimes that's all you really can do.
You always have me on your side. Your advisor wants you to succeed too. That's why he gave you this option. I know you can do this. I'll see you at work in a couple of days. We can talk about this more there, okay? I know it's easier said than done, but try not to stress yourself out too much about all this. Maybe you can make yourself something to take your mind off things. It's nearly dinner time after all, so make something nice for yourself.
Yeah, sometimes a good meal will kind of put you in a good mood, you know? It's a better solution than drowning my worries in some greasy fast food. As much as I'd love to take the easy way out of any additional responsibilities tonight.
Alright. I'll try. See you.
I may... Where are the settings? I'm gonna turn the music down just a bit, because at least in Olive's case, I don't know why I said Oliver. Olive's case, it's kind of drowning out her voice a bit, so...
Bye, Olive. I love you. Just remember that tomorrow's another day.
Love you too.
With that, the line goes dead. The big moment is over. I rest the phone on the coffee table before me. Starting tomorrow, I have all of 1 week to decide on one of 2 classes. The class will decide whether I get a college education or stay stuck in this rut for probably the rest of my life. All I have to do is pass an art or English class to do it. As the silence of the apartment starts gnawing at the back of my mind, I decide to get up and start preparing that dinner to distract myself. My eyes! Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's the I use for the thumbnail. Prologue by a thread. The next day. Man, I'm like a sucker for like a pencil drawn aesthetic like they just had there. I don't know, there's something about that I find really charming. Today marks the beginning of the experiment. The drop period for classes ends next week or so, and at my advisor's suggestion, I signed up for both the art and English lessons. The plan is to sit in on both, decide what is best for me, and drop the other. I only need one to survive, and I'd rather not stuff my already full schedule any more than I have to. So here I am, sitting in art class. I've gone back and forth on this all day, oscillating between I don't have an ounce of creativity, there's no way I can do this, and he's just drawing, right? Could it be so hard?
And from there, we will cover the Futurist movement, which after its founding in 1909...
I think I've settled on there's no way for now. Try as I might to take proper notes, I have no idea what I'm writing down. Psst. Hello there. A movement in the corner of my eye and a small chirpy voice beside me aren't helping. Hello there. The thing in my peripheral vision is shoved further into view. Glancing over shows it being an open notebook, which I try to tune out. The notebook slides back and forth in response, tapping on my own book as I try to write. Grimacing only spurs them on, now sure that they have my attention. What do they want from me? I lightly slap my hand down the paper, stopping their movements. Far from being discouraged, the culprit beams back at me as I glance over. Casting some window beyond her, the girl smiles cheerfully. The two of us couldn't look more different as I stare wearily at her, the sun behind her paling in comparison to her own bright nature. She gives me a thumbs up of encouragement, earning a bemused, furrowed brow. I might as well humor her at this point. Hey, you look pretty Are those little otters? Are those little otters? I love those little doodles. Hey, you look pretty lost. Are you doing okay? Need some help? I raise my tired eyes back to the author, only for her to resume her thumbs up pose. Is she genuinely interested in helping or just making fun of me? Would it be too rude to add that she's only making it harder? I'm just trying to focus. I decide against it and slide it back. Yeah, I know it's hard. This guy teaches. It's so boring. But listen, I know all about this stuff. I can help you if you want. I look at my syllabus on my desk in front of me, full of names and terms and concepts I know nothing about. This class isn't just drawing at all. It covers everything from art history to social movements. My heart sinks at the sheer breadth of knowledge that'll be needed. The professor's drawing lecture is soon lost on me as my attention wanders to her notebook. Though she's dedicated the full page of this conversation, I can make out various notes about art bleeding through the back of the page, even if the handwriting is hard to decipher. Oh, it's not that bad. Be nice. That's actually, compared to some of the handwriting I've seen, that's actually pretty good handwriting. My eyes drifting further, I notice another book sitting on her desk. An open sketchbook this time. Its pages covered with drawings of this and that. That's in addition to the doodles and the notes she's been passing me. Oh, I love a little scribbled, "I'll be fine." Okay, sure. This class must be perfect for someone like her.
Yes!
Upon reading my note, she suddenly shouts aloud in excitement. All I can do is freeze as the attention of the entire class, including the professor, is instantly drawn to her.
Yes. Caprice. Is there something you need?
Don't mind me. I'm just gonna save that. I'm just gonna screenshot that, and we're gonna put it away in a little corner right now because I feel I can very easily weaponize that face she's making right now. Where are we sticking that? Where are we sticking that? Ooh, I know where we're sticking that. We're sticking that right here. Perfect. Perfect. Immortalized should I need it. His pronounced sigh makes it all too obvious that he knows this particular student altogether too well.
Just excited and ready to learn. Is there something you need?
I need you to stay quiet while I'm talking. That's okay with you.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
She gives an exaggerated salute, which seemed to satisfy him. There are a few quiet giggles around the class. Not that she seems to care. She turns and sees me watching, which prompts her to give yet another thumbs up. And after a moment's scribbling, to give yet another note in the corner of her page. Let's talk after class. I know just how to help you. I'm Caprice, by the way. She signs a note, though I've already caught her name from the professor saying it. I might as well reply one last time. Thanks. I'm Olive. I have no idea the kind of person I've just agreed to talk to. Is she normally the type to pass notes and shout out during class? The last time I remember commuting like this is in elementary school. The rest of the class goes by uneventfully, for better or worse. I try my best to take notes and follow along, but by the end, the professor's ramblings and tangents end up overwhelming me.
Olive!
Before I can even leave the classroom, I'm accosted by my new acquaintance. I planned on waiting for her outside the door.
Olive, right? Olive?
That's right.
I'm Caprice. Nice to finally talk.
She extends a hand, which I take. Her shake is surprisingly firm and fast, my arm being yanked around by the slight figure before me. Okay, one thing I actually do appreciate about the art style, about the presentation here also is like I like that like little bold outline around. I'm kind of like covering over with my mouse around the characters as well. Really helps them pop out more.
Yeah, so...
So, listen. I'm the president of the art club here on campus.
Oh.
Well, not the art club, but one of the art clubs. The better one. Forget about that other one.
Oh no.
In fact, forget I mentioned it. There's only one art club, and it's mine.
Oh no.
And you see, we're looking for members. Any level of skill will do. The best way to learn art is to work alongside your peers.
Hey.
So if you're looking for help, there's really no better way than to join our art club. We're all pretty much good artists who can definitely teach you anything you need to know. I can even offer you personal lessons. That's a generous offer from the club president, you know.
I have to stop this. I'm not looking for a club or anything like this.
Thank you. But I think I'll pass.
Oh no.
She retreats a step back, hands clasped together.
I came on too strong. I'm sorry. Don't worry about all that stuff I said. I do think we could help you, though.
I appreciate the offer. Really. But I just don't think...
It's okay, Olive, I don't think either.
I'm not asking you to join. Just maybe come by sometime.
Ah, yes, the classic come by and say hi, and then we'll peer pressure you into joining. Maybe.
Oh, I know. I'll set up a club meeting for you to scope out. I'll let the others know to expect you once we can decide on a date. No strings attached. I think you'd fit right in.
I can already tell she won't relent until I give in. I sigh. She's not going to let me go until I offer some kind of compromise.
Okay, sure. I'll give it some thought.
Awesome! Trust me, it'll be great. Anyway, I gotta go. See you around, Olive.
She pats me on the shoulder and runs out, leaving me in her dust. If I don't go, she'll definitely confront me about next class. I'm not looking for a club to join, though, and I'd rather not deal with someone so high energy. Maybe just sitting in won't hurt. I'll worry about this later. I've got places to get to as well. Olive is such a mood. The next day already. The afternoon shift at the diner has proven to be a slow one, much to my relief. With Mom off for the day and the rest of the staff otherwise unavailable, I find myself idly flipping through my art textbook and empty booth. The contents are overwhelming compared to what I expected from a class like this, and I have to constantly remind myself that courses like this typically rely on participation and effort more than anything. Still hard to not stress out about it as my eyes glaze over foreign terms and information, though. A small chime of the bell pulls me out of my trance as a customer sneaks through the door without me noticing. I bounce to my feet to greet her, try my best to hide how off guard I feel.
Hey, welcome to the Bell House. Party of one?
I go to retrieve a menu for the woman as she turns to meet me.
3, actually. My roommates should be in shortly. They're just wrapping up a conversation out in the car.
Got it. Booth it is then. Right this way.
I take a few steps further into the diner, right to lead her to a spot near the back. I only make a couple feet before a voice interrupts my train of thought.
Hey Millie, catch!
She turns back around towards the entrance. I bit my tongue. She turns back around towards the entrance of the diner, handily catching a small keyring sent flying towards her. It takes a moment to get my eyes on the picture, a woman in orange and yellow seeming to be the culprit. And behind her... Oh no. There's no other way to rationalize this other than some sort of divine level prank, as the leader of the art club from yesterday is the last to enter the tiny space. Much to my despair, she seems to recognize me as quickly as I recognize her.
Ah, it's you!
It's me.
I feel like I'm missing something.
Oh, right. Haley, Millie, meet the newest art club member. Olive, I'm pretty sure their name was.
Pleased to meet you, Olive.
Her smile looks sincere, which makes the short pause beforehand even more concerning.
She got you roped into this without even having your name down yet?
She got it right on her first go, at least. I'm not in the club yet, though. Just testing the waters.
It's only a matter of time.
Caprice gives me like such Terra vibes. I don't know what it is, like there's something like very endearing about like the charismatic characters.
Uh-huh. Anyway.
Wanting nothing more than to be done with this interaction, I spin myself around and start making my way to the back of the diner, beckoning them to follow. It was hard not to notice Millie glanced at the textbook I'd left as the trio passed by. The three shuffled in, Caprice and Millie on opposite sides, Haley opting to follow in after Millie. After I passed them their menus and pretend to look busy by wiping down a nearby table, the three make idle chatter as they talk about our offerings. I'd like to say I wasn't eavesdropping, but the truth is simply that they don't end up saying anything interesting. And it's not long before they sound their orders. Loaded fries for Caprice, a chicken sandwich for Millie, and a breakfast platter for Haley. The latter is a bit annoying to prep at this hour, but it's nothing I'm not used to at this point. I carefully slid each plate in front of its intended recipient. The fries give me a bit of a scare with a near spill, but Caprice helped save the dish in the nick of time.
Enjoy. Just speak up if you need anything else.
Honestly, I kind of respect that kind of level of work, though, where you're, like, both taking the orders and preparing the meal. That is, like, a lot of, like, dedication to the job.
It smells great. Thank you.
With a small wave, I leave them to their meals, taking my seat back at my textbook a couple booths over. My eyes continue to glaze over the writing and images. The entire book is nothing but jumbled mess to me. Its more logical approach to the art is contradicting the hands-on approach of the class. To relieve the strain from my eyes, I occasionally glance up at the diner's current guests. Millie's quick to steal a fry or two, with Caprice matching her roommate's thieving by taking a forkful of hash browns from Haley's plate. The laughter and back and forth you expect from stuff like this is more subdued than you expect, but they seem to be enjoying themselves. And then Haley spots me. I try to avert my eyes back down to my book to feign ignorance, but it's a little too late.
Hey, whatever your name was.
Olive. Hi.
Sure, let's go with that.
With Millie glancing over Caprice's shoulder and Caprice's head spun around, it looks like I'm not getting out of this. With a resigned sigh, I stand up and approach their booth again.
Don't suppose this is just you asking for a refill?
Haley seems considerate for a moment, glancing down her half-empty cup before deciding against it.
Maybe in a bit. Just figured you wanted to chat with you staring longingly at us like that.
Caprice and Millie share a glance. Internally, I cringe. Thanks for wording it precisely like that, Haley. I have known you for approximately 5 minutes, and I already feel like hiding away forever. Okay, I'll be fair, like, Olive is like, maybe it's just because like I can like relate a lot so far, just as like a kind of an introverted person myself, but like Olive is like such a like massive mood, and I'm definitely like relating to them a lot more than I did with like Madison or Tara or anyone else in like Heart of the Woods.
Sorry, that textbook was giving me a headache, and there's not much else to look at in here.
Studying at work is impressive, though. You must really be invested in the art class already, huh?
Not at all, sorry to say.
Eh?
I've actually got another class tomorrow as a backup plan, in case the art one doesn't work out.
Oh, really? What kind of class, if you don't mind me asking?
Huh? Just intro to creative writing. Some small filler thing.
What?
Capri slams both her hands on the table in shock, her head quickly turning between Millie and I. Her reaction combined with the sudden grin from Millie has me on an indescribable level of terrified.
Well, today's just full of coincidences. I happen to be the leader of the writing club on campus. We have our first meeting of the semester tomorrow afternoon if you're interested.
She retrieves her wallet, pulls a small business card, and scribbles a room number and time on the back before passing it over to me.
If the art club doesn't work out for you, I'd be more than happy to help however I can with your writing course.
Wait. Olive, the writing class is going to be a real challenge. If we're thinking of the same one, Millie took it last semester, and I swear I saw her writing 8-page papers every other week.
That's not so bad. I'd already been nervous about how tomorrow's going to go, and that definitely doesn't help matters.
You're exaggerating. Besides, that textbook Olive was poring over didn't look like much of a pleasant experience either.
I can't argue that point.
I can! I've had the same professor in another class. We'll hardly ever use the book. Either way, a little bit of studying and some doodling is a heck of a lot easier than what you went through.
Says the woman spending days at a time stressing about inspiration and color composition.
Caprice glares daggers into what I had assumed to be her friend. A far cry from her smile yesterday. Millie pretends to not notice, going back to her sandwich after I took the card away and into my back pocket. I turned to Haley, looking for some kind of explanation. I met with a grazed glass, the half-melted eyes clanking against it as she shakes it around.
Lemon lime. Thanks.
Well, that's a little rude.
Coming right up.
The next day. The next day. The writing class ran longer than I would have liked. The professor definitely belongs in that course, with a clear love of language and words. A lot of words. The syllabus didn't enter our hands until 10 minutes after the estimated end of class, and the rigorous requirements listed on it didn't make me feel any better. Given Millie's experience in the class, I want to go into the club today feeling optimistic. But in truth, neither leader has done a spectacular job of selling me so far. I mindlessly turn the card over in my hands a few times as I navigate the halls of the building. Room 26A, 5:15 p.m. Judging by the advertisement for a car repair shop on the front, it's probably some trash she had yet to throw away before she handed it off to me. The information on the back is a lot more useful to me at the moment. I'm on the right floor at this point, at least. Now it's just a matter of finding the right door. The only thing unusual in this hall is a lanky guy fidgeting nervously outside one of the rooms. The club room, as it so happens.
Huh? Oh!
Given by the way he jumps back, it seems my presence had gone unnoticed. You remind me very much of someone I myself knew in high school, and I don't know how to feel about this. Candy isn't looking at his face. Something feels familiar, but I can't quite place it. His wise eyes seem to imply he's come to a similar sort of conclusion.
Olive? Olive Penn?
Yeah, that's me. And you're...
We shared a few classes back in high school. I don't blame you if you don't remember. I go by Darren now. Darren Baker.
It's not until he offers a feeble handshake that I realize who I'm talking to. We weren't super close or anything, but having a friend of any kind around after a little free of solitude is enough to get a smile out of me.
I remember. Don't worry. You're looking good.
It's funny you say that, because I'm like kind of realizing they have like almost the exact same glasses.
And you're looking the same as ever. Glad to see college hasn't changed you much.
Well, I think I might be overdue for a little change, honestly.
I end my greeting with a small chuckle to play it off, which seems to satisfy him as he retains a smile. If only he knew the half of it. As much as I'd like to do a bit of catching up and continue avoiding the matter at hand, I'm becoming more and more aware of how late I'm running.
Anyway, are you here for the riding club too?
I glanced at the card to triple check the details before turning my attention to him. He gives a dejected nod without so much as even glancing at it.
Yeah. That was the plan, at least.
Something up?
It's just more crowded than I was imagining it. Lots of noise and talking over each other. I poked my head in for a second, and that was enough.
Yeesh. Yeah, I can't blame you.
It's good to hear that it's active, at least. I can definitely sympathize with Darren's situation. It's a sentiment I'd echo in any other scenario. But sidestepping is out of the question. I've already committed to checking out Caprice's club, and so at this point it's better to get as many options as I can.
Well, wanna check it out together? I haven't been looking forward to it much either, to be honest. But having a friend there would help. No pressure though.
Yep, always give him an out. I fully expect him to turn down the offer, not being shackled to the obligation like me, but instead his face lights up.
No, it's fine. It sounds good to me.
As soon as the door opens, the noise Darren warned me about becomes obvious. The corners of my mouth already felt heavy, but that's only intensified as I discover the source of the squabbling. In the back of the room is a group of people talking amongst themselves, scouring through the counters for supplies. The lone woman sitting at one of the desks is entirely silent, tapping away on her phone as noise assaults her from both sides of the room. And in the front is Caprice arguing with Millie.
It sure is convenient that you picked today to do this.
It has to be today. There's hardly any time left to get all of this sorted.
You couldn't even wait a couple hours?
If you just signed the papers, we'd be out of here in 15 minutes, tops.
The two continue their back and forth a bit longer before suddenly stopping and swiveling their heads as the door fully opens to reveal myself and Darren.
Oh, what a coincidence.
I feel it's not.
You knew I was coming. You heard Millie offer as much yesterday.
Uh-huh.
That didn't necessarily mean you'd show up. I thought for sure you wouldn't have bothered.
Millie seems eager to respond, but instead stands there silently fuming. The threat of a retort almost scares me more than if she had actually chosen to speak up. Capri seems unfazed by her friend's body language and instead turns her attention to the back of the room.
Hey, you guys! This is Olive, the person I was telling you about.
The one glued to her phone doesn't react, but the four in the back turn around to face us. Having just a couple set of eyes on me is enough to make me want to shrink away into my vest, let alone 6.
Oh, hi. I'm Allison. Nice to meet you. Caprice has told us a bunch about you already.
The small pause seems to imply that's the end of that interaction, much to my relief. Allison bumps her elbow into the arm of the woman beside her, which unfortunately seems to be enough to keep it going.
Eileen. Yeah, good seeing you. We're a bit busy now, though.
And with that, she turns back around and continues piling miscellaneous colored papers and craft supplies under her arm. With a small sigh, Allison resumes her work as well. Confident she's not going to be getting any more out of the two, Caprice focuses her attention to another pair of students. A tall and intimidating man casually leaning on the countertop, and a stern-faced woman watching intently as Eileen and Allison pick away at the supplies.
The big guy's Wallace,
Does he have a dog named Gromit?
our newest member, excluding you.
Tell me he has a dog named Gromit.
And the last one?
She's not with us.
A surprising amount of venom in that response. Why do they think Caprice capable?
And thank goodness for that. Name's Tanya. Thanks for asking. I'm with the writing club. Millie told me you'd be coming today. Didn't mention there being two of you, though.
On that note,
Having had enough of this distraction, Millie makes her way back behind the desk at the front. She pulls out a pen and swiftly jots down her signature before beckoning Caprice over to retrieve the paper from her.
here's my signature as assurance that I'll finish filling out the form after the meeting if it makes you feel better. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to actually have a meeting today, so I would appreciate it if you hurried up your pillaging.
Caprice opens her mouth, ready to protest, then decides better of it. She gives the contents of the paper a quick skim. It must satisfy her as she joins her clubmates in the back of the room.
Anyway, come in, you two. I was expecting Olive, but it's nice to see someone else joining us today as well. My name's Millie. Nice to meet you.
She extends her hand towards Darren, who reluctantly takes it.
Darren. Hi.
With a small shake and smile, she ushers us to a pair of desks, then makes her way up to the front of the room. She shovels around in her bag looking for some sort of reference material.
You've got quite the fan club, huh?
The sound of my forehead hitting the desk is louder than any kind of argument Caprice and Millie could have. A sharp clearing of the throat from the front of the room is enough to drag my gaze back up, albeit slowly.
With all of that finally out of the way, it's time to begin the first writing club meeting of the semester. Welcome.
This is very pretty art. Front and center of the room, open book in hand, Millie definitely gives off a natural kind of teacher vibe.
This club's one of the oldest in the school, so we have a lot to live up to. Tanya introduced herself already. She's been helping me keep things moving for a while now. The talkative girl is Heather.
We love sarcasm. Giving up on her phone for the distractions, Heather finally sets it down and gives a disinterested wave in response to Millie's equally lukewarm introduction of her.
So, it's not typically this busy?
Heather smirks, though it's hard for me to gauge why.
Oh no, I'm so sorry about the bad first impression. Things are typically a lot quieter.
I don't even need to turn my head to imagine the look in Caprice's face. I brace for a response, but oddly enough, it never comes. Well, I'm sure the news is a relief to Darren. I can't help but deflate a little. It's my fault for getting my hopes up, but even I expected more than 3 people. Granted, Caprice's 4 isn't exactly a huge improvement.
Don't let the size fool you, though. What we lack in quantity, we make up for in quality. Here, look at this.
She approaches Darren and I once again, passing the book she was holding just moments prior. I lean to catch a glimpse and am met with chicken scratch. A lot of it. There's more ink than paper, and that trend continues as Darren flips a few pages.
The club can be a great source of inspiration and technical know-how if you'll allow it. I filled up this entire notebook and a couple others just in my first semester here.
And how many pages have you filled out recently?
The smirk from earlier has yet to fade. As a matter of fact, has only gotten bigger with her new remark. A grumble from the back of the room from Wallace, if I had to guess based on the tone, follows shortly after.
Plenty, thank you. The club's recent downsizing hasn't had any influence on that.
Downsizing, you say? Even with the rest of her club, all 2 of them, not really winning me over. The work Millie has on display is impressive. At the very least, I feel like I confidently rely on her, which is a plus.
Millie knows her stuff, I'll admit that. But there's only so much one person can do.
That is true. I jump a bit in my seat, throwing my head around to find Caprice standing over mine and Darren's shoulders, eyeing the contents of the notebook herself.
All I'm saying is that the art club, the entire club, would be able to help you. Unlike the writing club, our little circle looks out for each other.
Don't drag us into this.
Poor Wallace, he just works here.
Too late for that.
Hello, Brisket, I hope you're having a wonderful evening today. We're reading. Oh boy, are we reading. Without averting her gaze from the cabinet's innards, Eileen manages to swiftly shut him down.
Bold of you to hype your club up like that, given you didn't even bother to finish the paperwork to legitimize it in time for the fair.
I've got a set of keys for a room and a bunch of like-minded artists. Being recognized as official would just be a nice bonus.
I'm pretty sure I have a pair of keys that you commandeered for yourself.
Hey, whose side are you on here?
Caprice's explosion is met with a small smile from Allison and an even smaller smirk from Eileen. They don't seem to be taking this too seriously, which honestly may be a point in their favor.
Thank you for offering to share your space, by the way, Millie. We appreciate it. Even if Caprice won't say so. Come on, not you too.
You're very welcome, Allison.
Millie has a genuine talent for mixing sincerity and an underlying smugness almost perfectly.
Anyway, if you're all done chatting it up, we're gonna need you out of here soon. We were promised 15 minutes and you've already used up 5 of them.
Yeah, we're going. Just give us a few minutes to finish grabbing everything.
Wanna help us out, new kid?
Eileen continues her work, not bothering to turn around as she addresses me. Likely for the best, given the mutual surprise on Caprice and I's faces.
Huh? If you're being dragged into the group, you may as well start getting used to it sooner rather than later.
What? No! I was gonna bring them to an actual club meeting. Show them the best we had to offer. I had plans.
I didn't expect Caprice to object before me. Eileen merely shrugs in response.
I also haven't really committed one way or another.
I've heard that one before. 3 times, actually.
Jeez, what did I do to earn all this sass today? To be betrayed like this, time and time again? It's more than my poor heart can take.
Caprice cranes her neck back and places a hand on her forehead in a display of theatrics, prompting a couple of smiles out of Allison and Wallace. Far cries from the smirk that seems permanently glued to Heather's face. The thought of Heather is enough to remind me of my current situation, and I snap back to focus my attention on Millie and Darren. The latter seems content to keep paging through Millie's notebook as a means of staying out of the conversation, but Millie is obviously trying very hard to hide her transparent frustration with a smile.
It's fine. It'll get them out of the room faster and we'll have time to catch up after you're done. Win-win, right?
She couldn't sound more disappointed if she tried. Then boy is she trying. I don't want to flake on Millie or Darren, given I willingly put myself in here with them, but at the same time, it'll only be a few minutes, and that'll tell me way more about the art club than a fully planned and rehearsed meeting would. It's non-committal for now either way, so I guess it isn't a big deal. But it's hard not to feel anxious about it. Oh, we already have to make choices. We already have to make choices. Can I save? Can I save? Oh, I'm not ready. Oh no. I feel bad. Oh. Oh, this is way sooner than Heart of the Woods made me make decisions. Save. Okay. Oh no. Okay. Oh, thank you for shouting out brisket, by the way, Gil. I really need to get better in the better habit of doing that. But yeah. Let's think about this. Honestly, as far as first impressions go, Caprice is kind of pushy. And I don't like pushy folks myself. Oh, you're all good, Gil. We all need to develop habits, don't we? Here's my thing, is like Caprice is already kind of like okay with me not really helping out. But also Olive did make a good point that like this would be a more natural setting to kind of get in touch with the art club, or at least kind of learn about them. Because yeah, like a meeting with the art club where it's kind of like rehearsed and stuff in advance, like that won't really be a natural introduction to them. Whereas this would be kind of like more of like a good opportunity to kind of like actually learn, like, you know, not have like any of the theatrics or everything put in place. On the other hand, we did already kind of agree to meet with Millie today. And yeah, like what it says right there, I feel bad just leaving Millie and Darren like this. Like, Darren did kind of get roped into this last second. And, well, not roped into this, but like, he did get kind of like, he was kind of picked up last second, and it would be kind of rude to like, be like, hey, let's check out together then, and then just immediately bail. And I am the kind of person who does like to stick with plans. Okay, I will say like the art they give like Caprice is very cute though. like I just like love the little like excitement and like the like vivid shock if you save. I really expect them to throw a decision like this so early on at me though. Because the thing is, offering to help, it's less to do with like Caprice and more to do with like her club members, really, is a thing. Whereas I feel like staying put would be the polite thing to do, as well as like I said, we already had our plans for today, right? Like, honestly, Caprice is kind of gate crashing this, which is not winning me over at all. Because Caprice did know. Like, she was at the diner with Millie. She was there when Millie invited us. Like, Caprice knew full well what was going on today. Kind of lean towards Millie on this one. And again, she already said it's kind of okay if we don't help her out, so... I mean, yeah, like, it could have been her, like... She might, like, still take it a little personally, but... We planned this out. We kind of picked up Darren, like, in the crossfire. We should stick with our plan, I think.
Well, my original plan was to check out the writing club, so I'm gonna stick with that for now. Thanks for the offer, though.
Exactly my thoughts.
Well, can't say I didn't try.
The response to my decision is lukewarm. The only one showing any kind of emotion over it being Caprice, a slight frown appearing only for a moment on her face, despite her earlier protesting. It doesn't last, though, replaced quickly with her typical smile and a small wave before turning her attention back to her club. Part of me hates to turn down the chance to dig deeper into the art club, but I can't bring myself to split from Darren after inviting him in. I feel like I've got at least a decent grasp on their personalities, if not their talent.
I really appreciate it.
Just making sure. You know I still haven't made up my mind yet, right? I just want to hear more for now.
I know, don't worry. Now, where were we?
She rests her chin in her right hand for a moment, rewinding the past few minutes in her head.
Could we talk about the club itself some more, maybe? You mentioned downsizing?
Correct.
Ah, right. That.
Millie's focus continues, though looking considerably more dour than seconds ago. After taking some time to choose her words, her expression changes once again to a warm smile as if flipping a switch.
Well, everyone has to move on eventually. It just so happens that last year was the right time for a lot of people. It's just part of the college experience.
Well rehearsed and squeaky clean, all in a matter of seconds. You never fail to impress, Prez.
I'm unsure of how to process that, and it seems like Darren is in the same boat, with the only reaction from the three of us being a grimace from Millie.
As self-appointed club historian, I feel the need to point out that this great migration of yours only started after you took the reins, though.
Thank you, Heather.
Heather's like giving me the impression of like, why are you here? You know what I mean?
No problem. As the last of the old guard, we have to look after each other, you know?
Confident that she's successfully gotten under Millie's skin, Heather returns to tapping away at her phone, smug expression never once leaving her face. Heather's done her job of keeping curious about Millie's influence on the club, but it feels utterly futile to ask Millie directly about it. Left unsure of how to continue this conversation, I turn to Darren. To my surprise, he seems unusually nonplussed about Heather's interruption.
A smaller club suits me perfectly, actually. I was a lot more anxious when I came in originally and saw so many of you in here.
That's true. He was kind of panicking a bit.
Yes, exactly. You won't find a better place to express yourself if you're looking for peace and quiet.
That's one way to look at it, I guess. Darren doesn't seem to match my skepticism, looking considerably more at ease with his assurances. I must be doing a poor job of hiding my disapproval, as Millie is quick to shift gears when she redirects her attention to me.
But just because we're quiet doesn't mean we're an empty room. Tanya, can I borrow you for a minute?
Millie waves the woman in the back down. After giving the art club another cursory once-over, she obliges her friend's request, casually striding up to the front of the room.
Hey again.
I want to give you two a proper introduction to Tanya. She's the most recent member, but she's already been a huge help.
Tanya responds by grabbing at my hand and giving a firm, very firm, shake before repeating the process with Darren. Given the way he gently holds the hand in question after the fact, it's safe to assume her grip took him off guard as much as it did me.
Millie Woo, you two over yet?
I think she might be getting there.
Good to hear.
Well...
Two words, barely even words, are enough to get a simultaneous frown from Tanya and Millie.
Still got some hangups?
I'm just not sure the club has what I'm looking for, I guess.
Well, let's see if we can address that. What are you looking for here?
Help with my writing class, assuming I stick with it.
Yes, I'm aware. Anything else?
The expectation in her eyes begins to waver after a few seconds of prolonged silence, making me feel as though I've disappointed her with my response. Tanya, in contrast, is practically beaming.
Is that all? Then you've got nothing to worry about. You couldn't ask for a better tutor than Millie here.
Oh, let me just adjust and sit up really quick because I'm starting to shrimp. She gives her friend a playful shake on the shoulder.
What about you?
What about me?
Well, what about us?
I guess I was just hoping that I'd have more people around to bounce things off of than just the leader.
Oh.
That is a fair point. It does take like a crew to make a ship sail, so to speak. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, it's good to like kind of respect and lean on leadership in some points, but like you do also have to like factor in all your peers, right? Like, it's not a one-person show. She sheepishly rubs her head as she thinks, making a mess of her hair in the process.
That kind of thing isn't really my strong suit. I don't know if calling on me for writing advice would be the best idea you've ever had.
Before I even have a chance to air out my concerns, Tanya bounces back, pushing Millie forward.
I told you though. If there's anyone who could single-handedly drag you across the finish line, it's Millie here. Right?
Well, I'd certainly try my best.
And so the pinch ends, closing to a whimper, then a bang. It looks like Darren's probably been won over, sitting upright and excited at the premise of an empty classroom. But that same promise of a near-dessert club makes me sink into my seat. I reach over and grab a notebook from Darren's desk, flipping through it as I absorb as much of the barely legible print as I can. This club's likely a wash, but it'd be hard to deny Millie's own personal expertise in the subject. I wonder if she'd really be enough.
So?
Millie sounds as uncertain as I feel, but their friends still shake her arms with a reassuring pride.
I'll think about it. Thanks.
I'm willing to bet the art club probably has its own share of, not issues, but hang-ups, so to speak. Friday, every student's favorite day of the week. Perhaps it's my imagination, but even as I head into the cafeteria, the chatter of the people around me takes on a slightly happier tone than the days before. As for me, my mind is still occupied with thoughts of clubs, classes, and my last-ditch gamble to survive the semester. My stomach rumbles, the smell of food from the tables only reminding me of my hunger. After skipping breakfast and my lunch to get to school, in my rush to get to school, well, my brain is not fully there tonight, is it? I need something more than a cookie from the nearby cafe to get me through the day. The food here is nothing amazing, but I'm hardly picky. At least lunch will be a brief break from my worries where I can forget Caprice?
Olive! Olive, hey!
So much for that. Caprice waves at me from one of the tables. She has an uncanny knack for detecting my presence in a room, however crowded and busy it may be. I resign myself to my fate and take a seat as the woman next to her gives a small, polite wave.
Hi, Olive.
The two make an odd contrast. Alice is shy, almost nervous, greeting in stark difference Caprice's overabundant energy.
So, managed to survive Millie's lecturing after we left yesterday?
Okay, I'll be real, Caprice makes a lot of very fun faces. Like the little like cat like
It was pretty quiet and low-key. Nothing that extreme.
By quiet, you mean boring, right?
Hey now.
Yep, it was boring and terrible. The typical writing club MO.
Ma'am, are you like... Are you in the writing club or not? You seem like you Heather, you seem like the writing club's biggest hater. I can't. What's your story? I want to learn more about you. Now Heather has appeared, which can only make things better. Even though she's decided to welcome and invite herself into our conversation, she doesn't seem all that interested in giving us her full attention. Engrossed in her phone as usual, she barely looks up to address us.
What?
Caprice is visibly annoyed, with Heather's only reaction being the corner of her mouth tugging upward. Heather's passion for pressing people's buttons doesn't stop with Millie, it seems.
Well, Olive, don't feel obligated to give them the time of day. We'll get you through the semester easy peasy. Right, Allie?
Yeah, of course.
Right again. The club is nothing more than a waste of space.
Then why are you there?
Hey! Nobody asked you!
What? We're agreeing, aren't we?
Heather's managed to frustrate Caprice into silence. As impressive a feat as any. She seems to notice my bemused reaction, face suddenly rebounding into a grin.
I still owe you a proper meeting. You'll come, right?
How do I keep getting caught in these conversations?
We'll see.
And all the ones after that?
Well,
Great! I'll see you then. I gotta take care of some stuff for the fair. Bye, Allie!
She shoots Heather one last venomous look before hopping out of her chair, beginning to head out of the cafeteria.
What about food?
Already ate! Bye!
How odd. Must have just been keeping Allison company. Wait, what was that she mentioned about a fair? Before I can call out and clarify, Heather once again speaks up.
Why did you even come to our club when you were already playing house over with Mommy Caprice?
Allison takes her feet and grimaces at the comment. I can't help but match her expression.
Please don't call her that.
Just keeping my options open.
This might be a good opportunity to help with that. I've got a member of each club in front of me, though not for long as Allison picks up her tray of food and slips it onto the nearby counter. Heather looks unmoved by Allison and Caprice's abrupt departure. She takes a seat at the table next to me, barely looking up from her phone. Occasionally, she'll sip from the can of soda she brought with her. She doesn't seem particularly enthused by the writing club, so I figure she wouldn't spare the unpleasant details. That said, Allison does seem like the honest type, even if she is more loyal. If I hurry, I can still catch her. Okay. Her perspective may help, but ugh. Anyone's a better option than Heather. Well... I'll be frank, I am more curious about Heather. We gotta do another save, though. We gotta do another save. Save here. Yeah. 'Cause... Actually, not as tough on this one, Gil. 'Cause for me, here's the thing. Like, Allison clearly is, like, friends with Caprice and everything. Heather's been doing nothing but rag on the writing club, which makes me question, why is she still there? I feel like I could learn a lot more by talking to Heather. I had intended to get some food, but that can wait. This is likely as close to her full attention as I'll ever get.
So, about the writing club.
Don't ask me.
That was fast.
But you're a member, right?
Sharp as a tack. I was worried it may have flown over your head yesterday.
Why couldn't Tanya have been the one to find us here? I'm tempted to cut my losses and just walk away, but
Are meetings typically like yesterday?
Who knows? I only show up often enough to remind them I'm still around. I'd imagine things are much less exciting with only Millie and her flunky loitering in a room together, though.
So Millie's the only one doing any actual writing, huh?
Oh, don't you worry about that. Tanya and I hand in papers every now and again if Millie asks. Gotta keep in the boss's good graces, you know how it is.
and you're doing a fantastic job of that, I'm sure.
If you're asking about the number of willing participants, though, I guess you're right on the money.
I don't know if I'd call a group like that the writing club, really.
You can call it a club all you want, but it's just Millie's hobby at this point. If she wasn't so obsessed, it'd be long gone by now. As soon as the old guard graduated, everyone left with them. It was just a bunch of friends. The writing side was totally just in the name.
Put her phone down, she leans her chair back and begins to rock dangerously while staring up at the ceiling. It feels like she's talking more with herself than me at this point.
Wonder what I'll do once the thing's put out of its misery.
If it's that much of a bother, why go there in the first place?
That's what I've been asking.
To kill time?
Really?
That's it?
That's it. What do you want? An essay?
I mean, surely you have hobbies, right? Much as I want to think less of her for it, there's plenty of people who just go to clubs to pass the day. If what she says is true, and that's all the club ever was ever for... fumbling over my words. If what she says is true, that's all the club was ever for before Millie tried to give it a point. As I ponder, Heather becomes restless. She stands and gives a loud stretch.
I'm gonna go get another drink. You want anything?
If you're offering,
And she's gone. I guess I should have seen that coming. As she walks off, I sigh in frustration. It's like no matter which club I go for, I'm going to be in for a trial. With class still some time ahead of me, I find myself wandering the halls, go over my choices in my head.
Hey.
Oh, hey there. Do we finally have a neutral party to talk to? I just about bumped into Haley, who's carrying some poster board and other materials.
Whoa. Hey, you need some help?
Without answering, she shows some of her supplies in my direction, which I take. I already have a general idea of where she was heading.
The gymnasium, right?
Smart. Come on, you've been drafted.
She goes, and I follow.
So, how'd the meeting go yesterday?
You didn't hear about it?
Oh, I heard tons of things. But I'm interested in your perspective.
I would love nothing more than a 5-minute mental break from the caprice Millie wore. Unfortunately, it looks like something I won't be able to avoid anytime soon.
Well, I'm not even entirely sure what happened. It felt like a sudden whirlwind.
Yeah, sounds like them.
As we enter the large building, I see the area has been filled with tables arranged in rows. There are students running about, readying their booths.
Hey, where are we taking all this?
Over here.
I follow her to a table, or what's supposed to be a table anyway. Instead, I find 2 smaller booths cramped inside the same small space. I can read, I promise. Covered in red and blue cloth. One is a very formal-looking sign which reads Creative Writing. The other is a very slapdash sign simply reading Art, clearly written by the same hand.
You get the rundown on how they're sharing a spot already?
More or less. I remember them packing up a lot more than just a couple tablecloths and posters, though.
The art club is off turning all of that into brochures and other promo material for the 2 right now. This is all just bare bones stuff.
I'm surprised Millie trusts him enough to handle that.
Haley tucks her armful of supplies safely under the writing club's desk. I follow suit, emptying my hands as she lifts the cloth up for me.
Millie gets along well enough with all of them. It won't be an issue.
Oh, so like, really less enemies and more like rivals then.
Could've fooled me.
Things are just complicated right now is all. You saw how they were at the diner.
Are you talking about their friendly small talk or them trying to poach me from each other?
That's why I called it complicated.
She brings a hand to her headphones, debating pulling them over her ears. After a moment, she thinks better of it, deciding to instead lean lazily against the writing table.
You're committed at this point, right? You're gonna be picking one or the other?
Yeah, that's about as far as I've gotten in my thinking, though.
No particular feelings so far?
Oh, tons of feelings. Most of them dread. It all sort of cancels each other out.
It's okay, Olive. I feel dread about everything. Existential dread, financial dread, health dread. You just get used to dread.
Well, good luck.
Wait, what's up?
That was just Millie stuff. Gotta head over to the art room now.
Want me to come with you?
I've got it covered, thanks.
Once again, the headphones coming up signify the end of the conversation. She pulls herself up from the table and starts making her way past me without any further elaboration. It may be impossible to decipher Millie and Caprice's goings-ons, but trying to get a read on their roommate is an entirely different experience. I debate sticking around to catch her again, but decide against it and make my way out of the auditorium, going on my way to leave through the opposite doors. The next day. The next day. Today marks a day so rare that I can't remember the last like it. Something so monumental the full implications haven't settled in yet. A day without school, study, or work. The sizzling of bacon rings in my ears, its smell playing on my nose. With time on my hands for once, I've decided to start the day with a simple pleasure. The taste of eggs and bacon for a late breakfast. As I nudge the bacon with the spatula, I take a sip of the steaming coffee beside me. Unfortunately, my skills in cooking haven't translated to my skills as a barista. The concoction brewing foul. If it weren't badly needed caffeine, I'd have tipped it out already. The little cactus on my windowsill catches my eyes. My pride and joy, as embarrassing as that may be to admit. Easy to take care of, too.
Looks like you're doing better than me these days.
My words to the plant go unheard. Living alone isn't the easiest thing. Every chore, meal, and errand needs doing myself, after all. But it is comfortable. I can do things on my own schedule and eat at my own pace. Solitude might not be easy nor cheap, but it is simple. Pleased with the plant's quiet and unassuming company, I take another sip of my foul coffee. A distant ping from the couch announces a received text. Considering how few people I know, it's either mom or work calling in to ask me to help cover a shift. Knowing which I prefer, I turn down the heat on the stove and walk over to pick up my phone. Ollie, are you home right now? Oh. Unlike me, she had work today. I look at the time. I haven't noon yet. If she's texting me now, she's probably just getting off her opening shift. Yeah, what's up? I love it, like, I was just like, it looks so tired. It's just like eyeing the text so waverly. It's like, did they really just send that? Mind if I drop by for a bit? Maybe over lunch? Sure. Yay, great, see you then. See ya. She's fussing over me again, as she so often does in quiet moments. It's hard not to notice it's happening more often now that I'm living alone, though she's never outright admitted that. Not that it really matters. I cherish any free time we get to spend together. It's not like I had anything particularly planned for the day ahead. Besides, you can probably lend some more insight. Mom sits at the small table. Its shabby, scuffed wood adorned with a small pastry box she's brought with her from the diner. It's a bit of a comfort to know that even living apart, she still brings extra treats for me. I'm thankful I had a light breakfast.
Honey, you really didn't need to cook for me. At least let me help.
I was going to cook lunch for myself anyway. Whether it's for 1 or 2 people, doesn't make that much difference.
Okay, I feel that though. Cause I'll be real, like I kinda hate cooking for only myself. Like I've gotten better about it. Like I've gotten better about like meal prep and stuff, but like when I cook, I like to cook for multiple people. I hate cooking for just me. I carefully bring 2 plates over from the kitchen counter, each loaded with chicken, vegetables, and rice. Oh, Olive, your mom's, Yeah, your mom is definitely woman-shaped. Yeah. Exactly. Again, like, the way I've, like, kind of counteracted it, Gil, is, like, I kind of, like, focus a little bit more on the meal prep aspect of it, but, like, honestly, I don't know, I just still kind of hate it. It, like, bugs me, like, knowing there's, like, food just sitting in my fridge. Anyway. Despite her protest, Mom's eyes widen at the meal as it plays before her, still steaming away.
This is better than having to cook for yourself. You deserve better than work food every other day anyway.
True. She smiles excitedly at the plates, shifting the box to the side.
It looks as good as it smells.
Thanks. So, how's work?
I take my seat next to her upon placing down my own plate of food. Mom talks about her day as I sit and take a knife and fork in hand.
And she's yelling at me. Her baby is crying, and her other kid, I'm telling you, they had the most embarrassed look. But what can I do? Except apologize. And of course, she didn't even tip.
Oh yeah, restaurant, like, visitors are the worst, man.
Sorry I wasn't there to help you deal with that.
I'm glad you weren't there. Speaking of which, how's your day off been so far?
Oh, boring. Stressful.
Stressfully boring.
What did you do?
I sat around here, mostly just a lot of thinking.
Ollie, it's your day off. At least take some time for yourself.
But Mom...
With what's been going on...
Still turn up about your classes, huh?
Yeah, guess so. And things just keep getting more complicated.
What do you mean?
I explained to her about the clubs, between the meeting from a couple days ago, the upcoming fair, and the feud between the 2 leaders. She listens attentively, her expression varying between interest and concern. I feel myself deflate further and further as I talk, the hopelessness of the situation becoming all the clearer as I put it into words. It never quite sunk in until now just how bad my options are.
I really don't know what to do, Mom.
She has that soft, caring smile I've seen so many times in my life.
I know it's tough, but look at it this way. Even if they're fighting, The club leaders have been nothing but nice to you, right?
Sure. Maybe a bit too nice. I just don't know how things will go. My whole college career hinges on this.
You're more resilient than you give yourself credit for. I'm sure you'll pull through. Everyone wants you to do well. I know you won't regret your choice, whatever it is.
That's easy to say.
It's true, though. You're wasting your day off stressing over it. Take the rest of the day for yourself. Relax, do something you enjoy. Don't make it another day of stress. That way you'll be going to this fair with a clearer head.
That's easier said than done. She does have a point, though. I can't do anything more than I've already done at this point. It may not sit right with me that my future depends on people I barely know, but those two are who I'm stuck with. I have no choice but to gamble on this.
I'll try.
That's my Ollie.
She gives me a hug and a kiss on the forehead.
Now?
She pulls out the pastry box from earlier and places it on the table.
I brought a slice for each of us. Which one do you want? I'll let you pick first.
Inside lies 2 slices of pie, signatures from the diner we work at. 1 slice of blueberry and 1 slice of cherry. If I didn't know any better, I'd think she had done this on purpose. Oh, I get it, because like Caprice is like being associated with blue and Millie's kind of being associated with like, not necessarily red, but kind of like more like a pink color. Monday's come around again. I took Mom's advice and tried to relax after she left yesterday. I don't know if I succeeded. I feel like I've come back from an exhausting weekend. Today's the day of the fair. I'm not sure if I'm sold on either choice yet, but I don't really have time to mull it over anymore. I went over it again and again. I'm hoping seeing them at the fair today will finalize that. With the morning study over, the cafe beckons for a quick pick-me-up before going to war in the club fair's gymnasium venue. Never having been to this kind of event before, I expect chaos, especially so given the circumstances. Heading in, the place is thankfully quiet. The scant few students quietly sipping lattes while tapping on laptops or hunched over books. It wouldn't feel unusual any other day, but right now it feels like the calm before the storm. Hi, Haley. A particularly lanky girl catches my eye, as much for her bright get-up and headphones as anything else. Haley sits quietly as she listens to her music, hand in chin with a small coffee beside her. For someone so mild-mannered, she sure stands out. She picks her head up and waves me over. Pulling up a seat, she rights herself a bit and takes a sip. Her grimace shows that it's neither cold or bad. Probably only bought it to avoid being kicked out for hanging around without ordering.
Hey.
Hi. Done with fair prep?
Yep. I helped them finish setting their tables up this morning, so I've got the rest of the day off till the car ride home.
It's bound to be an awkward time after the fair today.
Haley can only give a weak shrug in response.
Caprice doesn't ride with us much nowadays. Dinner the other day was just an exception to the rule.
Huh. Wonder how I should read that. For me, it was definitely a bit tense, but I didn't think it'd be to the point where they'd be avoiding each other to that degree.
Are things okay? Like, between them, I mean.
Her face remains as deadpan as ever, but I can faintly make out a raise in her eyebrows. I guess a question like that out of nowhere probably deserves a reaction like that.
They've just been having some personal stuff going on for a while, and things are volatile. Nothing you need to worry about. Probably.
No, given how this game's playing out, I'll probably get involved in some form, but we'll deal with that when it comes.
Probably. Would it make you feel any better if I said definitely?
Fair enough.
I pinch the bridge of my nose in frustration, an act that apparently doesn't go unnoticed by her.
This stressing you out that much?
You don't know the half of it. The situation on my end is pretty dire.
You'll be fine. Promise. I mean it this time.
How do you figure?
If you're just worried about your grades or whatever, they'll both make sure you get to where you need to be. They've never let me down anyway.
Another sip of her coffee, supposedly forgetting about the reaction she just had to it. As expected, her face contorts immediately in response.
Even if that's true, being stuck in the middle of those two like this just makes the entire thing feel more overwhelming than it probably needs to be, you know?
Yeah, well, join the club.
I mean, hey, I'll remember, you don't live with them, she does. I've been stressing about just dealing with them this morning. Can't imagine actually sharing a living space with those two. I want to feel pity for Haley, but the small smile on her face makes me second guess that decision.
Get it?
Yeah, I got it.
Content their joke landed, she pulls her headphones back over her ears. Our conversation at its end.
Get your drink and get out there. Don't let me keep you. Good luck.
Alright. Nice talking to you.
Yep.
By the time I arrive, the club fair is in full swing. There must be hundreds of freshmen, with a scattering of second years here and there, fill the hall and mill about. It's interesting to see which ones look like they're on a mission as they head directly for a particular club, compared to others who peruse the tables as if browsing a farmer's market. Dozens of smaller stalls are lined up with varying amounts of work put into them. Does that say clubbing? A clubbing club? Like, is it a club that, like, is all about going clubbing to, like, clubs, or do they actually, like, assault things with, like, wooden clubs? I want to know more about this clubbing club. Anyway, piles of flyers sit on each other, the odd standee or prop set up to try to catch the gaze of passing students. Most of those behind club tables look more bored than anything, some having checked out completely as they lean back and browse on their phones. The occasional happy shout rings out as old friends recognize each other, but for the most part it's a surprisingly subdued affair. A nice surprise that calms the nerves a little, but not quite enough to really feel comfortable. Strolling along the aisles, I casually note the more niche club entries, such as robotics, fighting games, and fencing. I could probably be persuaded to join a couple of them under different circumstances. Near the end of one particular aisle, it is hard to spot, or should I say hear, the art club's table.
Looking for fun? Come to the art club. We're accepting anybody. No artsy experience required.
Sounds about right. Millie sits beside her, hands together on the table as she patiently tries to catch the eyes of those passing by. The formal act strikes me as a little put on, not helped by occasional slips when Caprice gets louder than usual. How these two could live together has me beat. Yet here they are, with their two small tables stuffed into one assigned space together. I feel like I'll never fully understand the relationship these two have. Then it happens. Caprice and Millie both set eyes on their prey at the same time. Far from a fight breaking out, an intensely awkward silence reigns between the three of us as they carefully maintain their smiling facades, the occasional student passing by only exacerbating the standoff. Sighing at the cruel fate assigned to me, I realize I'll have to take the initiative.
Alright, so we all know what's happening here. Let me hear it.
If I may, the writing club's a great working environment, and you could get a lot more done in a peaceful workplace than a party. And being a real club, we have actual resources and didn't have to rely on sneaking into the club fair to even be here.
Even if she's too eager to bite, Millie isn't really wrong if she sneaks a smug look to her right. I mean, yeah. I myself respect a quiet workplace, and honestly, despite Heather's like lack of enthusiasm, it's at least like apparent that Millie's like kind of like dedicated to her craft.
Shows how much you know. I actually did the paperwork.
And yet here you are, sharing my allocated space.
I don't need to explain anything. Olive's seen how great we are already.
Caprice on her own definitely has an overwhelming personality, but her club seems mellow enough. And that combined with the fact the art class is likely to be easy overall is tempting. The writing club, on the other hand, well, Millie herself seems really into the subject matter at least. Yeah. If the rest of the club isn't much of a factor, it'd be hard to find a better tutor.
So, have you made your decision?
Let's hear it.
Ooh, whichever club I pick, I'll have to drop both the other club and the other class. There's not much chance I could do both and pull out a pass. Oof. Okay, we gotta save. We gotta save all these choices, because dear lord, they've been piling them on me a lot faster than Heart of the Woods did. Like, there's definitely like gonna be an energy in the art club that's not in the writing club, but it does kind of suck too, because I do feel a little guilty, because I feel, given how things have played out, like Olive hasn't really been able to give the art club a proper chance. Like, she hasn't really gotten the opportunity to like sit on any of their meetings and stuff, right? But also, like, you're kind of asking her to like like, at least like Millie was kind of willing to give Olive like an opportunity to kind of view the club before joining. You know, just like kind of come in, join a meeting, see what it's about. And Caprice is just kind of like, no, just join, just join. You don't need to know anything, just join. And it's kind of like, I respect the gusto and the enthusiasm. I definitely feel we have like less of an idea of what's going on with the art club as opposed to the writing club. And I do feel a little bad, but like, honestly, Caprice's has been very pushy. And I feel at the very least like Millie's been kind of like a little bit more like, Millie's been like kind of a little bit more willing to work like with creating opportunities, you know? At least that's kind of the vibe I've been getting. So I think for now, I definitely think I'm going to do like a playthrough of like both routes, because I know like they both have to have separate routes. But I think for the first one, I'm definitely vibing with the writing club a little bit more. Join? Okay.
Sorry, Caprice, but I think the best shot I've got is with Millie.
The collapse of Caprice's face stings a little, though at least Millie has grace to give her a moment to deal with it. She bounces back in true Caprice fashion, settling for pouting as she sits back down in her chair. Millie takes the response as her cue.
Thank you, Olive. Pleased to have you aboard.
How bad could it be? That's an ominous achievement title. Oh no. She catches herself and reels her excitement back in, though not quite quick enough for it to go unnoticed. If she was successful in writing her tone, the large smile on her face is still as obvious to tell as any.
Your first club meeting will be on Thursday evening then. I'm sure you know the place.
Have fun being bored with boring people. If you want to switch, the door is always open.
I'll keep that in mind.
That's the nicest no I can muster. I have to make sure I can pass, and The writing club is the best chance of that. Saying my goodbyes, we agree to meet later before I take my leave and head out from the gym. The writing club. If nothing else, at least there's some comfort in knowing what I'm in for. The next few months are going to be a trial, but Millie definitely seems a better true tutor for driving me past the exams. Only one way forward now, I guess. I'm still struggling with the idea of putting all my trust into a single person, but it's the best option I have. If her smile was just a result of her winning her low-worth caprice, something about it manages to reassure me, at least a little. Oh, finish the prologue. Yep, boy. It takes a moment for my eyes to adjust as I step out into the dazzling sun. It's a Thursday evening, and that means everyone with a life is leaving the grounds as fast as their legs can take them. Everyone else, and myself included, is walking right back into the campus. I pick up my pace as I walk. It'd look bad if I was late to the club I just joined. Reaching the arts building, I wait for the flow of students escaping the day's classes to taper off, before squeezing inside and leaving the beauty of fall behind. Looks like a full house today, as sad as the idea is. The only sound to be heard is the squeak of a marker on the whiteboard. Oh, 100% fine, Gil. I hope AJ saw. I still need to catch up on Honkai Star Rail story myself. But yeah, enjoy the lurk and enjoy story. If you tell me what happens, Gil, I will explode. Oh, you're doing the Rapid story. I have opinions on the Rapid story, but we can discuss that once you're done with it. But yeah, you enjoy, Gil. Millie shoots me a polite smile as she notices me enter, before busying herself further with her very important work. Tanya rocks her chair while looking out the window. Heather apathetically plays with her phone, and Darren dutifully writes in his notebook. Take off my backpack and swing it beside me. I take a seat in the front row with the others, the only open seat being next to Heather. Can't imagine why. ... As the seconds roll by, and at a loss for what exactly I'm supposed to do, I busy myself with looking around the mostly empty room. The really almost totally empty room. The desks are organized into a perfect grid. Spare pencils fill the pen holders on the benches around the room. The teacher's desk, commandeered by Millie, is neatly organized with notebooks and folders. Everything is perfectly set up for the class ahead. Standing alone at the front of the room, Millie looks more like an actor playing a part in an empty theater than a club leader. She's taking her time comparing the notes in her well-worn journal to what she's writing on the board, but she's coming across as more nervous than diligent. In my wandering thoughts, I lock eyes with Heather for a moment. I offer a polite smile. Being that we're in the same club, for better or worse, it's worth at least trying to get along with her. Rather than return the awkward greeting, she simply rolls her eyes and goes back to her phone.
Wow, the art club was that bad, huh? Caprice must have left a pretty horrible impression for you to end up here.
She doesn't look up from her cell as she talks, scrolling through her social feed way too fast to actually be reading anything on it.
What? No, it's not that. This just seemed like a more legitimate club. At the time.
Heather scoffs at that, and smiling in a way that mocks more than words possibly could.
What is it we're actually meant to do? Beyond writing, that is.
Show up every Tuesday and Thursday. So long as we have an extra warm body in the room, the club doesn't get killed off.
The snap of Millie's notebook closing takes my attention. Our teacher turning back to the classroom. Heather pointedly turns slightly away from me, ending the conversation.
Welcome to another meeting, members new and old. I'll get right into it since I know everyone's busy. Everyone will do some writing today on a topic they'll choose. You can finish your stories off after the meeting if you don't find the time today. At the next meeting, we'll share our work with each other. That'll help us all gauge where we're at in our writing skills and what we'd like to focus on going forward.
Unlike the dead silence from earlier, Millie's trying to project her voice in a loud and clear way. Even if it's only to the four of us. Whatever issues the club may be having, I'm reminded of why I thought was the better choice. She is earnest and, at the very least, gives off the air of a good teacher.
Question, Miss Clark. How long does the story have to be?
Only as long as you want. This isn't classwork.
Lucky us.
Unlike Tanya's somewhat rehearsed sounding participation, Heather isn't even hiding that she intends to do nothing. Darren looks like he's copying down the notes on the whiteboard, so that leaves only me as Millie turns towards my direction.
If you need any help, don't hesitate to ask.
I don't know where to even start, to be honest. I haven't read a book on my own time since 5th grade. I'm better at more logical subjects. The arts aren't really my thing.
I guess you could say they aren't really your thing. That was a bad one. That was a bad one. That was a bad one. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. I'm ashamed.
The world isn't so neat that everything can be divided up into logical or creative sorts. A blank page is always a writer's worst enemy, but this is a writing club, not a workshop. We can work through it together.
She closes her eyes, giving serious thought as to how to best make do with my less than useful outlook. To my surprise, it doesn't take long before her eyes reopen, a newfound sparkle in them.
Tell me, where do you think a story should start?
Let's start. It's a very good place to start. Do Re Mi. It's someone's song from Sound of Music, right?
The beginning?
Wrong. A story starts with a plan. A story without a plan is just a meandering series of sentences.
Correct. What you need to do is you need to figure out your plot points and figure out how to build towards the plot points. It's called road mapping. I was prepared for this passion. Glancing sideways to see if this is considered normal, my neighbor sits there unfazed, apathetically scrolling her phone. That answers that, then.
So, let's start at the real beginning. The highest layer of writing a story. An idea. Someone give me a one-sentence idea for a story. No details at all, just the elevator pitch.
A knight saves a princess from a castle.
Tanya jumps up, suddenly looking way more excited. She smiles as Millie claps her hands together and writes down the board. I appreciate her input. The atmosphere of the room changes ever so slightly in the spirit of collaboration.
Excellent. That's a high-level story concept. Ideas are quick and easy to come up with, but finding one you're excited about is the most important part. Now, down to the next layer. What 3 things should any story have?
She pauses and looks back to all of us. Tanya sits back down and looks around at the rest of us for help. See me look entirely lost and Darren avoiding her eye contact, Tanya gives Heather's desk a small kick. Well, a regular kick. Heather responds with an annoyed and glares at the ceiling as she responds. Consider everything about Heather. That was a pretty tame response. I wonder how often something like this happens.
Introduction, conflict, resolution.
Thank you, Heather. Now, Tanya's story about the knight and the princess needs an introduction, a conflict, and a resolution. Darren, could you fill that out for us?
I guess it'd be... The knight and the princess's situation is set up for the introduction. The conflict is the idea itself. The knight has to save the princess. Then, I guess the resolution is for the princess and knight to get married and live happily ever after.
I appreciate them putting the knight in a suit, but they're still wearing their helmet.
Almost there, but the conflict needs to be an obstacle to reaching the conclusion. Why does the princess need saving? What's in the way of the two being together?
Correct. You need an obstacle. A wall.
Usually, it'd be something like a dragon has her locked up.
That dragon looks how I feel right now.
Good, but now this story feels a little too formulaic. How about for the assignment this week, you all write the story of the Princess and the Knight with your very own twist. Something to make the story uniquely yours.
True, the dragon concept, dragons are cool, but they're so overused in these scenarios.
There's one last layer before we start writing in earnest. We have our outline, but now we need to attack the structure. How do you approach a big project? We need to take our story outline and break it up further into chapters. If you like TV shows, think of them as episodes, or maybe as different scenes from a play. How about 3 chapters, or just paragraphs for a short story, between each of the introduction, conflict, and resolution? You can change that as you go if things don't feel right, but that gives us a framework to hang our story on. There, does that look like something you can write?
I can kind of see it in my head now. Yeah. This whole process doesn't feel very creative, though. I mean, carefully dissecting a story into layers and components feels a bit clinical.
I mean, yeah, but that's how writing is. Like, you don't just... When you have a story in mind, it's not just like you can just make it happen. You really do have to like pull together all the different pieces and figure out how to like construct it in a way that just flows well. You can't just jump from point A to point B, you know what I mean? You gotta get that flow, that rhythm. The sparkle shines in her eye. I've stumbled into something she wanted me to work out for myself.
So clinical that you might say it's almost logical?
Tanya gives an amused snort from the other side of the class, and even Darren smiles a little at that. She got me. She was leading me to that this entire time. Millie leans back on the desk behind her and lets me stew for a moment.
There's no clear line between creativity and logic. You need both to write, or make any sort of art. To paint a person, I imagine you need to understand anatomy. To write a story, you need to understand structure and how readers will think. Don't get hooked up on being as imaginative and original as you can. Just practice. Write badly. After a while, you'll come to intuitively understand why some things work and others don't. Like a driver slowly learns to work a car without thinking about how they're doing it. And when you're stuck, you can always talk it out. Giving each other feedback is the most important and fun part of writing. So take some time to plan it out, think of your knight and princess, and ask around if you're stuck. We can all share our stories next Tuesday.
The rim's already awash and the orange was sunset by the time I sit up to take a break. With the meeting winding down, the rest of the members have largely stopped paying attention to their notebooks. I look down at my own. A truly awful mess of words looks back up at me. Stuff like this makes me question the entire premise of writing. How can I mess up so badly doing the very thing I did back in high school English? With that said, I can't deny that breaking down the story, as Millie said, has already helped a lot with the entire process. I think back to the literature textbook staying somewhere in my apartment. The language was more difficult, but the whole point of the class has been about finding author intent and how it's successful. I'm still not being confident in being able to identify what makes a good story, but having the vocabulary to start thinking about its components is a relief. As much as it seems like basic stuff, I can't help but be a bit annoyed at myself again for checking out all during my high school English classes. Oh, I see now. My saving grace right now is Millie, who seems more than happy to use club time as a teacher rather than a fellow club member. The ruffling of papers as people pack up makes it clear everyone else is either done for the day or giving up. Following their lead, I slip the pens and paper in my bag. With Darren still fussing about, Heather preoccupied with her phone, and Tanya chatting with Millie while sitting on the teacher's desk, it looks like I'm the first out as I give our weeder I give our leader a quick wave while. I can talk. I can speak coherently, I promise you. As I give our leader a quick wave while passing.
Oh, before you go.
I stop my tracks, having so nearly escaped. The sight of Millie's hand happily outstretched, palm up, confuses me.
Yes?
Phone.
My eyes narrow at the request.
I just wanted to take down your number and put in contacts for the others.
Even though she doesn't seem the type to text non-stop or call at random hours of the day, a part of me is dreading giving someone I've only just met my number. It might be helpful to have on hand in case I have an actual writing class question, though. Reluctantly, I pull the phone out of my pocket and hand it to her.
Why do you have everyone's numbers anyway? Don't you meet twice a week?
As she finishes up, Millie gives an alarmingly large grin as she places my phone back into my palm.
Ah, but that's not all we do.
Millie turns back to the club members, all stopping what they're doing as she proudly puffs her chest out.
To welcome in our new members, I'm announcing the first group outing for the reorganized writing club.
Oh no, social interaction, the final frontier. That's adorable. I love these little intermission sketches. The trees are a nice color this time of year. Fall's always been my favorite season as far as I can remember. It's not as hot as summer, and spring's weather changes wildly in a single day. Making the most of the few warm days left of the year, I pass my morning raking up the leaves which have piled up on the paths outside the apartment building. No one else in the complex seems interested in this kind of busy work, but I've come to enjoy little chores like this. Give me time to quietly work away in solitude. I all but jump out my skin as a deafening wolf whistle rings out from behind me, my sense of peace abruptly ruined. Looking behind me as I clutch my rake out of reflex, Tanya hangs out the door of a small parked car, grinning ear to ear. The scarlet-faced Millie desperately attempts to tug her friend back in from the driver's seat.
Good to see you hard at work, Olive.
Tanya, please.
They sure are a pair. And it surprised me how someone as proper as Millie befriended someone so... everything as Tanya.
I don't know this woman, I swear.
Come on, I'm just having a bit of fun.
I see you two are full of energy this morning.
Meanwhile, you're doing your best impression of a responsible adult.
Just an impression, though. I want to say living alone is a hassle due to chores like this piling up, but honestly, I appreciate the mundaneness of it.
You don't have a roommate around to help?
Nah, Mom pops over now and again, but it's mostly just me, myself, and I.
Both of them look a little surprised as I shake my head. I hadn't thought my situation that unusual, but maybe I just got used to it.
The car yours, Millie?
Yep, my pride and joy. I was helping my dad restore it since before I could even drive.
Gets quite a workout, too, fearing your roommates around. I'm telling you, you should make the bums get their own licenses.
It's not a problem, really. Besides, Caprice started taking the trolley.
Did you say trolley? I love trolleys. They're incredible. I'm gonna save that bit for another day. Tanya gives her questioning smile, likely to do with the thing between her and Caprice. They must have a proper beef with each other for it to even affect the logistics of getting around.
You have a nice place.
The graffiti adds to the aesthetic, yeah.
I mean it, compared to some of the places students live.
She gives a small glance over to Tanya for just a moment, who responds with a dismissive shrug.
How are the neighbors?
The old ones had a dog that loved waking up the complex with his barking every night. They moved out in the last couple months, though, thankfully. Couldn't tell you anything about the new ones.
Well, we may keep to ourselves. That doesn't mean they don't make their presence known in other ways. The ones above me like loud music with lots of bass. One of the mailboxes is constantly full. As soon as I begin to wonder if the owner of that apartment's passed away, the mail mysteriously gets collected overnight, then the cycle starts all over again. I wonder what they think of me. We all live our lives without talking to each other at all, despite living just inches apart.
So, are we doing this thing? Should be about time we headed off.
Sure, just let me put this away. Thanks again for giving me a lift.
Not at all. It's the least I can do after taking your free time for something like this.
As we roll to a stop and Millie cuts the engine, the occasional honk of impatient cars still navigating the busy streets punctuates the low rumble of the crowds. I'm the first out of the little car, stretching myself out as much as I can, doing my best to shake out the ache of being crammed in a tiny box during rush hour. Oh, homie, I feel you. I'm like a tall creature myself. Being in a car is kind of uncomfy for me in a lot of ways. Lily and Tanya, on the other hand, are entirely unfazed, stepping out with little dramatics. I've never felt embarrassed about stepping out of a car before, but I guess there's a first time for everything.
Man, downtown's packed today.
All the outlets are probably having clearances before bringing out the winter clothes.
You think Heather and Darren are stuck in traffic? It was pretty blocked up on the way in. Where's this signing at anyway?
Bookstore is a bit of a hike up the road from here, but this is probably the closest parking spot we're going to get. The forecast called for a chance of rain today. I hope they get here soon.
I can't say I've ever been to a book signing. It's rare I even go to a bookstore these days, unless you want to count the one on campus. I can see the appeal, insofar as being able to meet an important person face to face. Same goes for sports autographs, even if I've never been to that either. It also feels like the kind of thing a writing club is supposed to do. As new to the club as I might be, I can't shake the feeling that there's a difference between what a writing club should do and what our club members might want to do. Our attention is distracted from the people hugging their coats by the sharp pinging coming from Millie. Tanya and I wait in silence as she pulls the phone from her pocket and reads the incoming message.
It's Darren.
So, where is he?
Looks like he's not coming.
Uh-oh.
Huh. Seemed like such an eager beaver, too. Did he say why?
Millie shakes her head.
I'll just be a minute. I'm going to give Heather a call.
Tanya and I exchange a brief glance as Millie steps away, tapping away on her phone before bringing it to her ear. The two of us watch and wait, Millie fiddling with her braid as she talks. She looks surprisingly pensive despite her efforts to hide it. After what feels like minutes, though was likely only seconds, she gives a couple of quick nods before tapping the phone to hang up. With that, she shoves her phone back into her bag with a sigh before returning to us.
Well,
she's not coming either.
Tanya and I let out a long sigh. After all that build-up, this whole thing's a bust.
should we head out on our own then?
Millie smiles a sad smile.
Maybe another time. I won't drag you two in there. It's not much of a club outing if half the club isn't here.
I mean, you're already there, you might as well. I debate pushing back, if for no other reason to soothe my guilt. But Tanya perks up before I get the chance, swiping away at her phone. Tanya flashes her screen at the two of us triumphantly, offering salvation through a silent declaration. ... The usual spot. 24/7 happy hour midweek specials. Not quite what I was imagining.
It's not even 10.
Adorable.
Should've.
Sure, why not?
I can only stare in stunned silence at Millie's response. She's quick to notice, giving me a sheepish laugh.
I mean, I wasn't super optimistic about today anyway, if I'm being honest. No point in getting too worked up about it. This sounds as good a backup plan as any.
Millie turns to her car, eager to get going and break eye contact. Needing no further prompting, Tanya practically skips over, crawling over the passenger seat into the back.
Should I drop you back off at your apartment, or will you be joining us? No pressure.
No pressure, she says, waiting patiently by her door, smiling wide. With a sigh, I start making my way towards the passenger side door. The warm hum of people chattering and glasses clinking fills the air, each of us sitting on our stools before the counter. I feel a little like a fish out of water here, but seeing Millie and Tanya casually chatting between themselves helps things feel a bit more comfortable. In hand, a cheap beer, one largely inoffensive as far as taste goes. The sheer variety of alcohol to try has been intimidating, so I decided to stick with what I know. Tanya's grabbed a simple beer as well, while Millie sips on some bright blue concoction.
Looks intense.
It's not. I just drink it for the flavor.
I hope so, with how fast she's managed to empty her glass so far.
So you two are regulars.
Regulars makes it sound like we come here all the time.
Tanya's awkward face doesn't go unnoticed. I think this is the second bar I've ever been to, but it seems like a comfortable place. Beneath all flows of the town and the wood-trimmed walls, the patrons all look clean-cut and on the younger side. Maybe that's the appeal for Millie and Tanya. They fit the scene well. In the end, it's just a bunch of people relaxing, which is how it should be. The prices aren't bad either. Or, I don't think they are. I don't have much of a frame of reference. I'm glad Millie's mood has improved, but I can't help stress at least a little about our current situation. Given why I joined the club in the first place, this isn't a stellar second impression.
So,
I start without really thinking, drawing Millie and Tanya's eyes to me.
you didn't seem that surprised about the attendance today.
I mean, to be fair, like, Heather is not shocking. That's about as tame as I could have worded that. Millie's face flattens before I get the opportunity to pat myself on the back, though.
This may surprise you, but Heather isn't consistent.
You don't say.
Tanya punctuates that with a snort.
And, well, I know you're friends, so please don't take this the wrong way, but Darren's a new recruit. I don't have much of a read on him yet.
I think you're really overestimating how close we are.
Oh, really? When you walked in together, I just assumed you invited a tag-along.
Nope. We talked a bit and shared a few classes in high school, but that's as far as it ever went, really. Just a really weird coincidence.
That being said, it does feel weird to have Darren miss something like this already, when he was supposedly staying at the club before I was. The three of us sit on that for a moment. I was quite sure where to take the conversation from here.
Ugh, those two are a pain in the ass.
Tanya?
Well, it's not like I'm innocent either.
Go on.
I'm just here because I need the help to pass my English course. I don't have a creative bone in my body.
Huh? Is that all it is?
You sound disappointed.
As opposed to Millie, who just looks disappointed.
I thought it was gonna be something saucier.
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. There's not a saucy bone in my body either.
Saucy bone. I'm hungry now.
Well, for what it's worth, I appreciate you coming out today anyway.
Millie smiles, but I don't need my glasses to see how strange it is. Tanya must pick up on it too, signaling down the barkeep to refill her friend's drink.
I'd appreciate you not trying to get her driver drunk before noon.
Tanya doesn't bother to offer me anything past a roll of her eyes and a smirk. Mia looks down on her mostly empty glass, her smile softening to one decidedly more genuine.
Sure. What harm could one more round do?
A new round of drinks arrives, and Tanya orders a table some bar food. To soak up the alcohol I'm so worried about, she teases. As Millie and Tanya laugh together, chatting about some movie I've never heard of or a teacher they have together. Something feels a bit off. When the conversation lulls, I catch a glimpse of Millie looking down at her drink, brow furrowed and lips pursed. The moment Tanya pipes up again, it disappears, but never quite completely. Try to shake the feeling. I don't know Millie that well to analyze her behavior, and don't even know what I'd say if I could. For whatever it's worth, Tanya's able to keep pulling back Millie from whatever depths of thoughtfulness she keeps sinking into, even if she needs alcohol to do it. Time passes quickly, and before I know it, it's been over an hour since we got here. I leave some cash for my order and a tip before excusing myself. Millie has been handling herself well, looking alert and sober since switching to soda a bit earlier. I still decline when she offers me a ride back, though. Stepping in the frigid air and daylight, I hit the squint to see. The overcast sky from this morning has been replaced with a typical sunny afternoon. With nothing more to do, I head back to my apartment. Hopefully I'll still be able to do something productive today. One week later, oh, we're really jumping ahead, eh? Millie's handwriting reads more like an alien language as I squint and concentrate to make out her sentences. What might have started as cursive has devolved into a scrawl, as if the pen were desperately trying to keep up with her train of thought.
What's all this?
Editor's notes.
Oh no.
Do you have them in English?
With my story writing complete, Millie, decided best to go over things in more detail after the club. The outdoor seating was also her idea, even if the small tables make trying to sift through this mess even more of a hassle. Given how extensive her notes are, any optimism I may have had has been quickly dashed. I know you can't expect perfection immediately, but even if the professor was half as thorough as Millie, it'd still pretty handily be a failing mark. Slouching in my uneven seat, I rock it back and forth as I mull my situation over. Our cups of coffee steam away on the table between us, Millie's bright face watching my own. It's been a week since the failed outing, with a couple of club meetings happening since then. If she's annoyed or sad about what happened, she hasn't shown it. Even now, she smiles widely while waiting for a response to her writing critique. This only made the charade of the writing club meetings all the weirder. Just another week of everyone silently ignoring the elephant in the room, that nobody actually cares about any of this. I take up my cup of coffee and try to think over my writing.
That's the look of concentration I wanted to see. I knew you'd get into this. What's on your mind?
Nothing you want to hear.
Try me.
That these glasses are giving me a headache.
Millie pouts as I grumble to myself, but it soon gives way to a small giggle.
I promise you contacts are worse, but you do what you gotta do to maintain appearances. Now, how about we get back on track?
Recognizing that my attempts at avoiding this any further have been thoroughly squashed, I return to Millie's notes with a sigh.
Almost everything here is covered in corrections and fixes. Actually, I think you've written more than I did in the first place. I appreciate the effort you're putting in, but man, it's hard to stay optimistic about this. What chance do you think I have here, honestly?
Are you going to do a second draft with all the notes?
Well, sure. I won't be starting from scratch, so this should be doable by next week's meeting.
Then you'll be fine.
Wow, she sold her confidence really well, considering how much of a non-answer that was. Still, it feels like I'm doing the bare minimum. This is all any of the others should be doing. When I think about it like that, I start getting annoyed. After taking a sip of her drink, Millie takes her little worn notebook and adds something in her hurried handwriting. Perhaps a note about her tutoring or an idea for her own writing. As she finishes, she notices my glancing.
Keeping a notebook handy means I can quickly jot down my thoughts when inspiration strikes. You should try it. I think it'd really help you.
Don't know how much use I'd get out of a notebook filled with nothing but bad ideas.
Bad ideas are fine. Most of my notebook is junk I never end up using. But the few diamonds in the rough, sometimes even just a few words, can be enough to build on. Maybe it'll help you get into a creative mindset, too.
Millie may well be right. She probably is. But that doesn't mean I feel any sort of connection to what she's saying. It's like receiving a lengthy and thought-out lecture in clear and precise terms, all perfectly delivered in hieroglyphs. I will give her that she has the patience of a saint to be helping me like this. She seems to enjoy the chance to talk about the mechanics of writing with someone who cares, even if it's only out of necessity.
So, what are you trying to say with all this?
Think of it like art. Instead of trying to make a gallery-worthy portrait off the bat, you're sketching out rough ideas to try different concepts from different angles.
Not the first example I expect to come to her mind, given the circumstances.
You don't even have to show anyone. Just try describing an interesting person. Plot out a fun scene in a movie, or emulate an interesting passage you saw in a book. I think that's where you're getting tripped up, trying to write full stories right from the start without being comfortable with the act of writing itself. Without a solid foundation, the whole building falls apart.
And how long am I gonna be doing these sketches?
As long as you're writing, of course. It's a critical part of the process, no matter how experienced you are.
Unable to contain my excitement, I drink the rest of my increasingly lukewarm coffee. As dispirited as I might feel from her feedback, at least there's a sense of direction. I'm not left wallowing in misery if I don't make it in the end. Looking at her face brimming with excitement at the prospect of making meaningless scraps of writing over and over for weeks or months ahead, I can't help but feel out of place next to her. It isn't just her either. Darren's ability to scroll away about esoteric subjects even as a freshman still taunts me. Even Heather seems comfortable jotting down this and that to keep our studious leader off her back.
Hey, Millie?
Yes?
I know I'm at least partially to blame, and I really appreciate it, but how do you find so much energy to devote to this? Writing in general, I mean.
The question takes her a little off guard, breaking through her lecturing attitude as she thoughtfully sets down her drink.
Why write, huh? I suppose that I could say something corny, like creativity brings out the best in people, or something. Spin some tale about the power of the great author's writings, opening one's mind and taking us on wild adventures.
I'm waiting for the bite.
I'm getting there. My earliest memories are of my mother reading to me. We read a lot together, even as I grew up. Maybe it's a little selfish, but I wanted to hold on to that feeling. Maybe even share that sense of companionship with others, making our own personal connections through reading and writing together. That's what this club is supposed to be. A place for individuals to get together and offer each other glimpses into themselves, to maybe find a speck of common interest to nurture and grow.
Okay. So it's less about, so for her it's more like she wants to use that writing to like connect with people then. Which, I respect that. Like, when you can like find shared hobbies with other people and kind of bond over them, it is a pretty nice feeling. Like my buddy Seabass, for example. Like, probably one of the first things we like kind of bonded over was we both played Fate Grand Order, and we just had like, and you know, it kind of like helped us ease into like kind of connecting and starting a lot of conversations by like talking about like a lot of the game stuff. So it can be really nice to kind of like find those like shared interests to bond over.
Or, well, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but it's a two-way street. It hurts a little to see her wistful smile slowly fade, reality seeping in through the cracks in her carefully maintained idealism.
I guess it didn't quite work out that way.
That was heavier than I expected from a question intended to simply fill the air.
Well, no reason why it still can't be.
I guess she was expecting something more defeatist from me, given the surprise on her face.
No, of course. Thanks for the reminder.
For what it's worth, I'm glad you managed to find a hobby that means so much to you.
We all have our vices.
Taking my coffee in one hand, I grab my backpack from the ground and sling it over my shoulder as I rise to my feet.
Where are you off to?
Much as I'd love to stay and talk more, I also like being able to pay rent, so I'm off to the diner for the evening shift. See you tomorrow, Millie. Oh, and sorry about the grumbling. Just haven't found my footing yet. I'll have a proper look over your notes when I get home and start working on a second draft.
It's no problem. Make sure you buy a notebook sometime. A proper one. Spoil yourself. I'm sure it'll help.
As usual, it doesn't take long for it to bounce back. At least we're not parting on a sad note. With that, I give her a curt wave and start off out of the cafe. I can't say today was exactly productive, but I suppose I should count myself lucky that Millie is taking this tutoring seriously. Looking back, I see Millie taking her notebook in hand to take yet more notes for herself. I wonder if anyone else gives it much thought.
Death.
Me too, man.
Death comes for me.
Me too, man.
Oh, don't be so dramatic.
She flicks my back with a hand towel, but I barely flinch. I've had some long days here, but today was crazy even by our standards. I shouldn't complain. A lot of people my age can't even get a job, and having my mom around does make things better. I get along fine with the other staff too, though we rarely actually share a shift. Still can't bring myself to eat burgers though. Not after making them one after the other for hours on end every shift. I feel that too. Like, real talk, like, I have worked in like many a kitchen in my day, but like, man, like once you work somewhere for long enough, you kind of start to not care about the food like at all. It kind of like loses its taste, and like my first job was at like a Pizza Hut. Man, like I just cannot eat Pizza Hut anymore. Like I just can't. Like I can't do it. Like every now and then I'll like try, and it's just like no, my body rejects it. It's just, I'm so sick of it. Anyway, Mom visibly reassesses her snark after I push myself off the counter and walk up to her. Guess I'm not hiding the exhaustion well, not like I was really trying to.
Thanks for your work, dear. It was a rough day, but you got through.
I'm going to sleep forever when I get home.
I don't know about forever, but you've earned yourself a good rest.
She looks to me for a moment before shuffling herself into a booth, patting the seat next to her. Eager for an excuse to rest my feet, I oblige.
Are you okay, Ollie?
I'm fine. Just tired.
No point complaining to her. It's... Oh, excuse me. It's not like Mom can change anything. When I think about it, I think most of my problems come down to feeling like I have no control over my life right now. With so few cooks and Mom already overworked, I have to fill in when I can at the diner. Then there's the fact that all my time between sleep, school, and work is filled with frantic studying just to keep up with the others in my classes.
How is school going? You said that you joined a new club, right?
Yeah, the riding club. It's a bit weird, but at least it'll help me get the credits I need.
A bit weird?
They show up whenever they feel like it, and barely even pretend to work while they're around. The supervising professor doesn't bother attending at all while the leader is... well, she tries her hardest. I wish I had an ounce of the passion she has, whether for writing or anything else. It'd make this a lot easier.
Sounds like she's an admirable person.
She is. That's what bugs me.
Oh, you think she's being taken advantage of?
Yeah. Everyone shows up, but doesn't bother putting in any effort. She must know that, but she just smiles through it.
I think that's what's bothered me so much about her tutoring. Am I taking advantage of her enthusiasm like the others? The only reason I'm in the club is to pass my exams, after all. As I think to myself, I notice a familiar smile on Mom's face. The same she gave me as a child whenever she saw through a petty lie. Whenever she saw what I was actually saying.
I'm sure she'd be happy to see you care so much.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I have a future in writing after all, with how easy I apparently am to read.
Either way, it sounds to me like the club being all on the same page would help the both of you out quite a bit.
Do you think I should be doing something about it?
That's for you to figure out. You know best. All I'm saying is that sometimes doing things we're not used to is a good thing. Life would be awfully boring if we all stayed the same our whole lives, right?
Correct, we gotta pursue that personal growth.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, I almost forgot. If you need any time off work for club things, just tell me. I'm sure you can pull some strings.
I cringe a little at her overacted wink. I have no doubt Mom's doing what she thinks is best for me, but I couldn't possibly ask that of her. She's already run off her feet just to make ends meet, not that she'd tell me. So there's an unwritten understanding between us that we're both in this together. Writing might not come naturally to me, but I guess I owe it to Millie to do what I can for the club. It feels wrong to use it to pass my exams, then bounce and leave them to their fate. Somehow it feels like an even steeper slope to climb than all the other stresses in my life right now. A few days, wow, we're really jumping ahead by like vaults, eh? To my side, a couple plastic bags shift together as I walk. By some miracle, the half-dozen hearty muffins somehow survive the bike trip over. It's not often that I get the chance to cook for others outside of work, though my motivations aren't exactly pure. If Millie's optimism can't get people interested in a club, then maybe outright bribery will. Coming to the door, I can already hear Millie's muffled lecturing. Taking a breath to summon what little energy I have at this time of day, I take the door handle in hand and swing it open. Millie moves to welcome me in, but she trails off in confusion as her gaze falls to the bag by my side. Tanya beams a grin with an arm around the back of her chair, contrasting to the stiff and overly formal Darren. Heather is not here. It's not the first time she's outright skipped, so not the biggest surprise. With a cursory greeting, I drop the bag on the table and roll down the sides, plucking out several large plastic containers and popping open their lids. The sweet smell rises from the food despite having been baked in the morning. Everyone gathers around, their eyes sparkling as I finish unpacking the rest of my morning's efforts. If they took half as much interest in the club as they did this, we'd be in business.
Olive, what? Did you get lost on the way to the baking club or something?
Says the woman in her mechanic jumpsuit. Cooking and baking is a bit of a hobby, so I just figured I'd bring some stuff as well.
It's not like I care about you bakas or anything.
Well, no complaints here.
Take what you like. I didn't bring these in for show and tell. Just have them while you're writing or whatever.
I hope I don't sound ungrateful for asking, but what's the occasion?
Well, you know...
I have no idea how to word this in a way that isn't tinged with pessimism.
The club's had a rough start this semester. I figured something like this might improve the mood a bit and get people motivated is all.
Thankfully, it looks like that answer is more than acceptable as Millie's initial shock melts into a smile.
That's really sweet. Thank you.
It's not the first time I've seen her smiling, but something about this time, combined with her tone, feels considerably more genuine than before. The sincerity of it is enough to make me look away before I start blushing. With no need for further prompting, the feeding frenzy begins as multiple hands dive in at once for this treat or that, with a single chocolate-flavored muffin rescued for myself. Heading to my usual desk to get back into Millie's editing notes, I turn around to see the club members chatting away between themselves. Millie delicately tries to catch the crumbs with a hand below her chin, while Darren's technique consists mostly of taking small nibbles of it at a time. Tanya, meanwhile, shows no such restraint. I was hoping people would take my while you're writing suggestion to heart, but the club ended up looking more like a party instead. At least Millie seems to be happy chatting it away, so I'm fine calling it a small victory. Managed to make the most of the social atmosphere, especially since I'm going to be around these people for a while yet. Oh. Okay, so what are our options here? Approach Tanya. Reach out to Darren. It would be good to catch up and ask about Heather. You know, honestly, Heather's lost for not being here. I think I'm gonna cross that one out immediately. You know, let's catch up with the homie, though. It might be nice to see how Darren's been because, yeah, he is, not a close friend, but an old friend. And, you know, it would be nice to kind of, extend some courtesy, be like, hey, man, how you been doing? I should probably take the opportunity to talk with Darren. He keeps to himself so much that I don't often get the chance, and I like to think there's some camaraderie in being the two newest club members. Plus, honestly, you could maybe, help crack his shell a little bit, make him feel a little bit more comfortable doing other stuff too if we do this. He nibbles at the corner of a muffin as I walk over, taking exceptional care not to drop so much as a crumb. It's an impressive effort.
Hey, been a while since we caught up. How's it going?
Fine, I guess. I'm doing well in my classes, at least.
I wish I could say the same.
It's already feeling like a struggle to keep this conversation going, and we're only 3 sentences deep.
So, what are you hoping to get out of college anyway? You might be new, but it sounds like you have some idea.
It's not really exciting. You're gonna be disappointed.
Nothing wrong with boring.
Historian. I want to study history.
That's not disappointing, that's rad. Honestly, there are some, if you dig deep enough, you can find some, really crazy stuff in history. Now, for once, Olive and I are on the same page, though. He's right, that's about as standard as they come. Maybe that explains why he can write so quickly. The history courses I've taken were all about essays, and anyone who wanted to get anywhere would never need to be used to writing them.
Suppose a writing club's a good fit for someone who's going to be drowning in essays by default.
I guess so. It helps. I like writing fiction too, though. They're different skill sets.
Yeah? How's the club been for you lately, then? Millie seems all over that kind of stuff.
He opens his mouth to answer, only to second-guess himself. He folds a little paper cup that previously housed his muffin and excuses himself from the conversation to grab another. I idly wonder why someone so studious didn't show up to the book signing. Heather's not exactly a mystery, but I really thought he'd at least come along out of duty if nothing else. Either way, I guess that's all I'm going to get out of him today. I'll check in with the other two a bit later.
lot of food here. Why'd you make so many different flavors?
Didn't know what you guys would like. Besides, muffins are easy because you can throw in whatever's handy for flavoring. Chocolate chips, cocoa, fruits, that sort of thing.
The others seem to like them too. It's good to see everyone chatting like this.
All two of them.
Have to admit, it's different than when you do it for a job. After a while, you forget how nice it is to watch people enjoy the food you've made for them, and having a good time while eating together.
It isn't long before Darren says his goodbyes, pushing the last chunk of muffin into his mouth with his thumb on the way out. As Tanya sees him off, she looks back.
So, the big question. Who gets the rest?
We ended up getting through about half of them by the looks of it. Even with Darren and Tanya's appetites not quite being up to the task, I do appreciate Millie looking to me for an answer.
I can make more anytime. You guys decide between yourselves.
Rock, paper, scissors?
Going by how fast Millie agrees and takes a position, this must be a normal way of sorting out disagreements between the two. Their faces look oddly scary given how low stakes this is. Without a word of communication, they begin the rounds, apparently being best to have 3, going by so fast I can barely keep track. Graceful in victory, winning the final round with paper to Tanya's rock, Millie silently grins ear to ear as Tanya sighs.
Such is life. See you guys later.
The sulking Tanya wanders out while scratching her head, Millie waving her off as she goes.
I'm alright to clean up by myself. You can go if you want.
Thanks. Sorry for turning the meeting into this.
You hardly need to apologize. It's nice to see everyone enjoying themselves in the club. I really appreciate this, Olive.
You're only saying that because you ended up with all the leftovers.
I deserve that pounding. By the time I'm finally out the door, sunset's already rolled in. Given that running in the dark makes me nervous, I start the path to the bike rack with no detours. The urgency doesn't last long, with a familiar orange shack out of the corner of my eye, stopping me in my tracks.
Oh, hey.
She has headphones on. What am I even doing? Reaching up to take them off, it looks like Haley noticed me before I could collect myself and pretend nothing happened. Try as I might to get a read on her, I just can't do it. That face of her is inhumanly placid.
Sup?
She approached me.
Just saying hi. What are you listening to?
She takes the headphones from around her neck and offers them to me without a word. All the more curious, I dutifully take them and, after a moment to brush my hair back, hold them in my ears for a quick listen. That's about all the reaction I can muster to the tune. I'm not even sure why I asked. The music is totally out of my usual wheelhouse. Left none the wiser, I give up and pass the headphones back to their owner. The items slung around her neck in a smooth and practiced movement. She quickly picks up on my nonplussed expression.
They're good for tuning things out, at least.
What do you think about when you're alone in those headphones?
Stuff. This and that.
She just shrugs, as much to me as her own inability to give a meaningful answer.
So, I hear you're in the writing club now.
Apparently so.
Yeah, apparently. Well, now that you're officially part of this, try not to worry much about the arguments between those two. If either of them give you any trouble, just give me a yell.
It's not really a big deal. Sometimes people just don't get along.
And she goes silent. I find myself wondering if she agrees or if I said something wrong. I have a feeling I'm going to be left wondering too.
I assume you're not following us home?
Sorry?
Considering you stopped me in front of Millie's car.
As Haley points behind me, all I can do is give an intensely awkward chuckle to try and laugh it off. Not your best move, Olive. Not your best moment, Olive.
Oops. sorry. No, just on my way to pick up my bike.
She doesn't react one way or another, leaving me no indication as to whether or not she accepted that.
Here I was, thinking I'd picked up a stray cat. See you later. Hope the club works out for you.
She brings her headphones back over her head, done with our conversation. That's more than fine with me. Get on my way, might pace a little faster than before to escape the situation. Alright, I do think, however, because I did actually only just glance at the time.
This is the end for me.
Couldn't put it any better myself, Olive. This is definitely a good point to end. I didn't even know they, I think they're non-binary. Again, they have a saying they. But, what the? Wait a minute. There's a different face. Wait, I know, it's not the last save we had a different face too. Oh, may I also, like, signify we're, like, going, we're in, like, the writing club, then? That route? But yeah, I think this is as good a time as any to end for the night, because it is getting late. It's actually just about midnight. I didn't even realize how long I've been yapping my brains out here, but overall, I'm actually enjoying this quite a bit. It's definitely, like, a lot easier to for me to like, get into than Heart of the Woods. But I think it's also because I'm just relating to the characters a lot more. Like, I definitely feel a lot of common ground with Olive as a character. Millie's, like, passion for writing is definitely very endearing to me. But I'm enjoying it so far. I'm looking for... I'm not gonna be playing more until next Wednesday, though. Ooh, I'll stay strong, though. We have Yakuza. Which I'll probably stream Yakuza tomorrow, I'm thinking. That might be a good time. But, that being said, I think that will be it for me for tonight. Let's see. Don't think I'm gonna do a raid tonight. There are people streaming who I could raid, however, a couple of them are streaming the new Deltarune chapter, and I don't care about Deltarune spoilers myself, but I don't want to subject anyone else to the Deltarune spoilers, so... if I found someone, but they literally just ended Rise opened their stream, unfortunate. Yeah, we'll just not raid tonight. That's okay, though. But yeah, that'll be it for me tonight. I appreciate everybody who stopped by, said hi, lurked for a little bit. And we will pick this back up again next Wednesday, because Wednesday is Women Wednesday. We will always play women-related games on Wednesday. But yeah, I'll probably be back tomorrow for Yakuza, probably sometime in the afternoon, methinks. We'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna stop yapping now and go get ready for bed. So once again, appreciate everybody who stopped by, said hi, lurked, all that good stuff, and I will see y'all when I see you. Okay? Okay. Goodbye.